Good morning, class. Now, after the concept of saving function and consumption curve, now let's start the relationship between APC and APS. The relation between APC and APS is equals to 1. That means both the values will not be more than 1. APC value if is 0.5, so APS will be 0.5. If this is 0.75, so this will be 0.25. If 0.80 APC, so this will be 0.20. That means this value will not exceed 1. This reason I have told you yesterday also when we discussed the features of APC and APS. So APC's formula is consumption upon income. APS formula is saving upon income equals to 1. Now C plus S is equals C plus S upon Y equals to 1. We know that Y is also equal to consumption plus saving. So Y we will keep over here, Y upon Y. So we will get the answer 1. So this is the way by which we can say that APC plus APS is equals to 1. So may be possible sometimes you will get APS, so you have to use APC, or maybe you have APS, so you have to calculate APC. So APC you can calculate by 1 minus APS, and APS you can calculate by 1 minus APC. So this is the relationship between APC and APS. That means both will become equal to 1 only. Their value will not exceed 1. Now the next one, relationship between MPC and MPS, same thing. MPC plus MPS is also equals to 1. MPC formula delta C upon delta Y, this we had done already. MPS also we had done, delta S upon delta Y. Now LCM आप लोगे तो delta Y and after that delta C plus delta S, same thing, just like Y equals to C plus S होता है, in the same way delta Y is equals to delta C plus delta S. So your answer is 1. So that means the relationship between MPC plus MPS is equals to 1. Now MPC you can calculate by deducting 1 minus MPS, and MPS you can calculate by 1 minus MPC. Okay, so now after this we will start the numericals of this chapter, but before that one question is there, and maximum time that question comes in 3 marks from this chapter. So let's start that question. Okay, now this is a 3-mark question, derivation of a saving function from the consumption function. In the first part I have drawn the diagram of the consumption function, and after that you can see in the B part saving function is there. Okay, now first of all see, when income is 0, some level of consumption is there, that is your autonomous consumption. This Y curve is your income level, this C curve is your consumption curve, right? This consumption curve always starts from above the origin, that means from here, because autonomous consumption is always exist in the economy just for the survival. And in the second part you can see this one is your saving curve, but the saving curve we will derive from the consumption function. Now how we can derive? First of all just see, when the income is 0, on that time some level of consumption is there, so that means income आपकी कुछ नहीं है, but still some consumption is going on, so that means on that time there is no saving. This shows your dissaving, and dissaving we will show till your income is less than your consumption. Till the K point we can see that before the K point, before the break even point, income is lesser than consumption. When income is lesser than consumption, so there is no savings, that's why we are showing dissaving, and the same thing is shown in the part B also. This curve, this part is shows as a dissaving. After that at point K you can see the break even point. Break even point is that point where income and consumption both become equal to each other, and you can see that APC is equals to 1. So at that, from that point vertical line we can make, and here you can see at the same OY level of the income, at that point your savings are 0. That's why we have written APS equals to 0. After that, this thing will be very clear to you if you will see the video again where I have discussed the features of the APS. After that you can see now your income increases but consumption lags behind. So consumption lags behind, that means Y minus C equals to saving. So this gap is shown in the part B. Here also this portion is shown as a saving. So that means from the consumption function, in this way we can derive the saving function. This is your derivation. This is your 3-mark question. Now you can see in the proper way how both the diagrams you have to make. This is 3-mark question hardly, derivation of a saving function from the consumption function. Now let's discuss derivation of consumption function from saving function. Okay, now this is your second diagram, which is the derivation of a consumption function from saving function. Here I have drawn both the curves in the one diagram only. See, in this diagram a straight line saving SS curve. Okay, this is showing you the saving function at the different level of the income. Okay, in the beginning you can see that this saving function, the saving curve is negative and saving is equal to OS at the zero level of income. After that we can see at the zero level of income some consumption expenditure is there. After that consumption expenditure is equal to the income when before the break even point, when the consumption expenditure is greater than the income, on that time savings were zero, or maybe we can say, sorry, not saving is zero, savings were negative. When the break even point reaches that point at it is shown as a K. At that point you can see APC is equals to 1. APC is equals to 1 only in the one condition when Y is equals to C, or at that point you can see in the second part that saving curve reaches to the 0 at OY level of the income. Here your savings are 0, that's why I have mentioned APS equals to 0. After that, when income increases, consumption lags behind and the gap between both is shown by the savings. So by joining both the points we can get the C curve, and I think this explanation is written in your notes also. Please read it again. After that, let's start the other theoretical portion of this chapter. Okay, now after that few definitions are there in this chapter. First of all, ex ante saving. Ex ante savings are those savings just like what the savers in the economy plan during or maybe they are planning to save at the different levels of income during a given period. That means this type of the saving is planned by the economy in a given period of time. Or ex post saving is actual saving. Actual saving, that means this is the actual saving in the economy during a year. Ex ante is planned saving, whereas ex post is the actual saving. हम लोग प्लान क्या करते हैं और एक्चुअल में आफ्टर डूइंग द एक्सपेंडिचर हाउ मच वी आर एबल टू सेव, दैट इज योर ex post. Now next one is your ex ante investment. Ex ante investment, that means the investment which is planned or desired to made by the firms at different levels of income in the during a period. That means this is also a planned investment by the investors in the economy during a given period of time. Whereas ex post investment, this is the actual investment which is done by the investors at the different levels of the income during a period of during a year. So ex ante and ex post. Ex ante means planned and ex post means actual. Now after that, involuntary unemployment. I have written employment, it is unemployment. Involuntary unemployment, it occurs when those who are able and willing to work at the prevailing wage rate but do not get work. Okay, that means people are ready to work at the prevailing wage rates but still they are not getting the work. That is involuntary unemployment. Second one is voluntary unemployment. This is the situation when people are willing to work, willing to do the work, although suitable work is available for them, but such people are included in the labor force. That means intentionally they don't want to do, just like people like they are preparing for IAS, they are preparing for some other competitive exam. That means work is available for them, even they are ready also, but still they are not doing the work. After that, full employment. Full employment is a situation when the person who is willing to work at the prevailing wage rate is employed, sorry. Okay, that means this is the situation when the person who is ready to work at the prevailing wage rate in the economy, and if he is getting the work, that person is known as a fully employed. Now let's solve one numerical over here. In the question, two things are given to you. Consumption function is given to you and income is given. Now they are asking you calculate the consumption expenditure and the saving at the income level of rupees 2000 crores. So now two things are given to us in the numerical, in the question, and two things we need to calculate. So consumption function, we know the algebraic expression of the consumption function, C equals to C bar plus BY. So this thing is already given to us. This is also a consumption function, C bar, that is autonomous consumption, B, MPC and Y. Okay, so C bar value 50 as it is, 0.8 as it is, Y that is income. Income is given to us over here rupees 2000. So 2000 we will keep over here. So after the calculating 0.8 into 2000, 1600. So your consumption is 1650. Just see it again. They ask you to calculate the consumption expenditure. Consumption can be calculated by two ways. First, Y minus S equals to C. Second thing, C you can calculate by the consumption function algebraic formula we can use. Okay, now after that the second thing they ask you the saving. अब आपके पास में क्या है, C you are having 1650, Y आपको ऑलरेडी गिवन है क्वेश्चन में रुपीज 2000. तो सेविंग वी कैन कैलकुलेट, ये आपका फॉर्मूला है Y इक्वल्स टू C प्लस S. सो सेविंग आपको निकालना है तो Y माइनस C आपका S आ जाएगा. Y given in the question rupees 2000. C right now we have calculated 1650. So your savings are 350. See it again. Consumption expenditure. So that's why we are using the algebraic expression, because already consumption function is given in the question. So directly we can put the values. Now let's do the another numerical. Now next numerical. In next numerical, saving function is given. Saving function minus 30 plus 0.4 Y. We know that the saving function whenever it is given, that means saving function minus C bar plus 1 minus B Y. This is your algebraic expression of saving. I will write it again. Okay, that means saving function is given and saving ka algebraic expression we know minus C bar plus 1 minus B Y. 1 minus B we know that it stands as a MPS. So that means in your saving function minus C bar, that means autonomous consumption is given, MPS is given, and Y is we will put the value. Now after this, income level is also given to us 3000 rupees. After that they ask you to calculate all such things: autonomous consumption, consumption, saving, MPC and MPS. Now first of all, autonomous consumption is easy to calculate, because if it is saving function given, so this minus 30, this is your dissaving, and whatever the dissaving, that is the autonomous consumption. So directly 30 we can keep. So this is your autonomous consumption. Now the second thing they ask you to calculate consumption function. Consumption आपको तब तक नहीं आएगा जब तक कि आपके पास में इनकम है, सेविंग है. Y माइनस S करोगे तब आपको C मिलेगा. तो S we have to find out the value. So saving function we keep as it is, whatever is given in the question, minus 30 plus 0.4 Y. अब Y की वैल्यू आप क्या रख सकते हो, which is given in the question rupees 3000. So when you will calculate this value, you will get 1170. So this is your saving, this is your income. So Y minus S you will get C. So here also we have done Y minus S equals to C. Y आपका था वो क्वेश्चन में गिवन 3000, saving you have find out with the saving function, that is 1170. So that's why we will get consumption 1830. After that they ask you to calculate MPC and MPS. Now listen, when saving function is given, 0.4 is your MPS. So MPS value to is already given to you. So MPS value to we can already write 0.4, right? And now MPC we can calculate. Right now we have discussed the relationship between MPC and MPS is MPC plus MPS is equals to 1. So MPC can be calculated by 1 minus MPC. So 1 minus 0.4 is equals to 0.6. Now these are the two numericals which I have given, which I am explaining here in the video. Remaining numericals we will solve in the live classes.